Think like a partner, act like a partner, be a partner. That's what collaborative relationship building is all about. So another way to put it is it's shifting from me to we. And not about just pitching a solution, it's how we work together to create one.
You're listening to the Sales Today podcast, and I'm your host, Fred Copestake. On this podcast, we explore how sales professionals can develop a modern approach to winning business, the application of virtual selling techniques, how to create meaningful business relationships, and much more. Why not take our free collaborative selling scorecard to see how your sales approach suits today's environment? You'll find a link in the show notes.
And welcome to this episode of the Sales Today podcast with me, your host, Fred Copestake. This one is part of the mini-series, which is breaking down the ethical model, which is at the core of my book, Ethical Selling. And this episode is the C for collaborative relationship building. Now then, need to be a bit careful on this one. I've tried to keep these episodes between 10 and 15 minutes. I've written a whole book on this subject. This is essentially what my first book, Selling Through Partnering Skills, was about. So need to be disciplined to keep the mini-series mini and all the episodes balanced. But yeah, this one, all of them really, but this is particularly close to my heart. But yeah, look, let's start off with a truth bomb. Buyers don't really want a pure vendor. They want a partner. Unless it's a massively commodified product or commoditized product, then maybe they do. But really, most of the time in a complex B2B sale, it isn't really just about nailing quick wins. They want to have relationships that last, where trust, understanding, mutual success are the foundation. Certainly the kind of organizations I've been working with over the last 24 or 5 years, that's what they're looking for. So yeah, this is where collaboration transforms the sales relationship and why to think like a partner is the key to long-term success. That's basically what the book is all about. Yeah, because sales has changed. Gone are the days where we're just looking at one-off transactions. Okay, maybe some big investment decisions, they might be, but those are so complex that the relationship in getting to the point of making that decision are absolutely key. So buyers want partnerships. So what we mean by that is a relationship where you work together to solve problems, deliver value, ultimately doing stuff to grow their business. Collaboration matters because it builds trust. When customers feel like you're working with them, you sat alongside them, and not just trying to sell stuff to them, they are going to trust you more. It'll create more opportunities. A collaborative relationship where we're working on things together, we're co-creating, is naturally going to lead to upsell, renewal, referral. We're in a better position to expand, to grow the business. And to a degree, it makes you indispensable. They don't want to replace a partner. Vendors come and go, and procurement can deal with these guys, but partners will stick around because the value that you're creating together is recognized. So really, this part of the model, the goal's pretty simple. Think like a partner, act like a partner, be a partner. That's what collaborative relationship building is all about. So another way to put it is it's shifting from me to we. And not about just pitching a solution, it's how we work together to create one. So how does this show up? How do we recognize this stuff going on? A good collaborative salesperson will understand the bigger picture. They'll go beyond the immediate problem. They'll go just trying to fix something. They'll be thinking about, like, what are your longer term goals? How does this project fit into your wider strategy? That's the sort of thinking that they're using for themselves, but also to help the customer think about stuff. They understand that salespeople are sense makers. And so they co-create solutions. They build those with the customer. It's not for them, not for themselves. Yeah. It's about both parties feeling invested and that the outcomes are going to meet the needs of the customer. But equally, there is benefit for the sales side. They'll use something along the lines of the value framework. So again, I'm quoting my own book here. Why wouldn't I? But the value framework I share in that: validate, align, leverage, underpin, evolve. This is all about having the skills, having the techniques, having the tools to understand the right opportunities. We can then, having picked those and made sure we're not going to be wasting time, so gone through a qualification procedure, understood the ICP and who we want to be working with, we can then do the right research. So start to think about, what are the things they really care about? Who are the people that are likely to be involved? What does a more specific value prop, one that we can tailor and become a bit more focused with, more specific with, what does that look like? Because we're going to take that into the right conversation. So we're going to leverage that. We're going to use this information to manage the conversation with insights, perspectives, asking intelligent questions, things which are going to help people think, so we can move together towards getting the right solution. Right solution for both parties, something that we can underpin, we can back up, and we can present that, we can write proposals around it, we can prove that, we can do all of the things which helps that become something that's an easier decision for a customer to make, an informed decision. And we'll move forward into making sure that they get the right outcomes. I've used this word a number of times on this mini podcast series, or this mini series in the podcast, where we're looking to help people achieve their goals or get the results that they want. So that's what the value framework helps us to do. That's what the core of selling through partnering skills is all about. And it's the mindset as much as those skills that will help you do the right things so the customer sees you as a partner and that trust grows more naturally. I've worked with a ton of sales teams where they've transformed their approach by thinking like partners. One that springs to mind was in the logistics sector. And they treated clients like typical customers. Rock up, pitch a solution, short-term win, try to nail the business again and again and again. It's like they're having to win the business every single time. Relationship never really grew. They never made the job easy for themselves. So we looked at how they can change tack. Instead of just trying to sell to them, at them even, they collaborated. They learn how to have meetings around the customer's bigger business challenges. What were they actually trying to achieve? How then could they co-create the solution? How could they change the package of what it is that they could do so that it matched that client's broader, bigger picture supply chain goals? So they involved the customer in the way in which this was planned, in the way it was executed, in that they were doing this stuff together. It takes two to tango, and they needed to work on this stuff together for the solution to work well, and it did. And so they went off from kind of a whole bunch of one-time deals to a more strategic partnership, which actually warranted the word partnership. I sometimes think we shouldn't be using that particular word. People throw it around a little bit willy-nilly. But in this case, it generally was. It was a formal alliance. The customer saw them as part of the team. It really was, a great example of the power of collaborative selling. So it's always in these. I'm trying to share tips, things which people can take away. And I've touched on some of these already, but the number one I would say would be adopt a partnering mindset. Yeah, think like a partner. Yeah, how can I help this customer succeed? That's what we're thinking as we're moving into our conversations. What's the mutual success we're going to be creating? Not just how do I close the deal? How do I get the business? Ask big picture questions. Yeah, so digging deeper, understanding their strategy, the challenges, the longer term goals. Yeah, what does success look like for you and your team over the next 12 months? How can we support you beyond this particular project? These kind of questions which take the thinking to a different level. Co-create solutions. Get the customer involved in the problem-solving process. Workshop it. Look at it together. Don't think you have to take everything away and be the one that's always coming up with this. So yeah, you can suggest ideas. Here's where we could approach it. What are your thoughts? Or let's just work together and start from scratch to design something which fits absolutely perfect for you. Stay connected. So sometimes we'll see sort of sales or the relationship can drop off after the order, after the purchase has been made. Remember, we're trying to help customers drive outcomes, and this is why I love the fact that customer success is becoming a bit more of a current discipline. But getting together for quarterly value reviews, sharing insights, adding extra value over time, and building on consistency. I've talked about the value framework: validate, align, leverage, underpin, evolve. Right opportunities, right research, right conversations, right solution, right outcomes. Think of these as ways in which, if we're doing all this stuff right, we can be making sure we're doing the right things at every single interaction. So that's something which we can, or some tips which we can use. I said I had to keep it short. I'm trying to keep disciplined. So yeah, let's move into wrap up mode. So yeah, summaries. Collaborative relationship building is all about working with your customer, not trying to do something to them. Yeah, when we think like a partner, we focus on mutual success. Yeah, build trust, create more opportunities. We become indispensable. We're part and parcel of the way in which they operate. So a little challenge. Remember, I'm using these in this mini series. What I challenge you to do is, in your next customer conversation that you've entered, thinking like a partner, so you got your mindset right, is to ask at least one big picture question. So to start talking and thinking about their long-term goals. Yeah, and then go into exploring what can you do together? How can you collaborate to help them achieve that success? Yeah, partnerships don't just happen. Yeah, just because you've got a partner manager, just because you stick a plate on somebody's wall because you give them that title. No, organizations don't partner, people do. They're built through trust, they're built through understanding, they are built through collaboration. So, hope you enjoyed this episode. Try to keep it short and simple. Plenty more if you need it. I mean, get in touch and I can direct you towards a whole bunch of assets. In the next, we will talk about how can we approach negotiations in a more ethical, flexible way to achieve win-win outcomes. So it's the A of ethical, it's adaptive negotiation. But if you enjoyed this particular episode, share it with your team, subscribe, leave a review, buy the book. But until next time, keep selling ethically.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Today podcast with me, your host, Fred Copestake. I hope you've enjoyed what you heard today. If you did, please get in touch and hit subscribe. And remember, you can take the Collaborative Selling Scorecard for free to check out how your sales approach works in today's environment. You'll find it in the show notes.